beautiful things for...
He's an artist.
Yeah.
He's like a legitimate artist.
Jimmy Burke's that way. Jimmy Burke is truly not ambitious. He is only interested in feeding his brain. He listens to Stephen West's podcast, Philosophize This, which is
I love that podcast.
That's my favorite.
I've been talking to that guy back and forth. I'm going to get him on.
Yeah, I got to get him on. He's 29, and he's got such a command of philosophy, but he makes it so accessible.
Yes.
Like Jimmy will start his day with Philosophize This, just listen, get a nugget, and then he goes and works out and plays tennis, and he's a national treasure because he only lives to educate himself and make the world a better place. He just makes people feel good about themselves.
He's trying to enjoy life, but do you think you'd want to do it over and over and over again, the exact same life?
I do. He's the happiest. He's the closest thing to a monk. I was just with him. I flew him down to Florida.
Do you remember the time we had him on the podcast?
Around.
Folks, you want to watch a disaster
so
podcast?
High.
We got him way too high.
Oh, God.
We got him like 3 or 4 hits deep, and he doesn't smoke weed.
And he hadn't eaten.
He hadn't eaten.
And he was thirsty.
I don't think if eating helps when you're smoking it.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Does it?
Well, he was already low blood sugar, and he hadn't slept.
We barbecued that dude.
Yeah.
We threw him in a Traeger grill and set it at 225 for 6 hours. He was forgetting stories in the middle of the first sentence.
He's amazing.
Yeah, we fucked him up, which is too bad because he tells some great stories. Now the world will forever know him as the guy who couldn't keep it together.
Well, I remember when he had tuberculosis. I called him Jimmy Burkulosis. And
he had tuberculosis?
He sure did.
He got
it. They think he got it from his grandfather when he was 3 years old, and it lay dormant, and they couldn't find it because it was on the outside of his lung.
Holy shit!
I'm with him in the hospital. I've never seen anything like this. I'm with him in the hospital, and they thought he had 2 things: one, the disease that killed Bernie Mac, or 2,
what disease killed Bernie Mac?
He had that disease that firemen get from 9/11, where your lungs basically turn to sand. I mean, it's awful. God. So Bernie Mac died of that. So they said you have either a fatal disease, which is that lung disease, or you have lung cancer. Okay, now this was what he was looking at. And I remember he was just talking to me like this, do, and joking around. Aha, oh, dude, yeah. And I went, Bubba, I go, you've been given, like, they are looking at you either being, you're dead or dead. I don't understand how you're not even missing a beat. And he goes, dude, come on. I've made peace with my death a long time ago. I live every day as it comes.
Wow.
And he was getting ready for them to come out and tell him what it was. And the doctors, you can't help but to love him. So he was there for 3 weeks, and the doctors finally found that he had tuberculosis. Now, at this point, all the doctors fell in love with him. All of them. They'd come in and listen to his stories. So the doctor came running in and goes, we found out what you have. You have tuberculosis. And Jimmy was like, oh, great. And he goes, no, we can cure that. This is fucking great. We can cure that. So he went on 9 months of antibiotics.
9 months?
And he went colorblind.
From the antibiotics?
Yeah, that's what happened to him. He's now colorblind.
So he's colorblind
yep,
now?
Colorblind.
Whoa.
That's what the antibiotics did. But hey, he's 100%. But I've never seen anybody face his own death and be that just monk-like about it.
Does he have
badass.
a good diet?
Yeah.
Now, when he was on the antibiotics, did they give him probiotics as well?
He does probiotics. He brought his body right back. I mean, he's just a beast. He's never stopped working out. He's never stopped eating really well.
Do they know what caused his antibiotic reaction that made him colorblind?
That apparently is a side effect when you take 9 months of a very strong cocktail of antibiotics.
And that cured it, though. 9 months later, it cured it.
Yeah, thank
Wow.
God.
And there's no way it cures it on its own.
Well, back in the day, you had consumption, and you died eventually.
Ooh.
But some people would go up into the mountains, and tuberculosis can go into remission and not come out again.
When you go to the mountains?
The idea was we'll go to the mountains and breathe fresh air, and sometimes you could go into remission with tuberculosis. But tuberculosis was almost always a death sentence. In Long Day's Journey into Night, the great play and Nobel Prize winner Eugene O'Neill, his brother had it. And he knew his brother was going to die. And he just watched his brother deteriorate. It was like having AIDS or something. You would cough, you'd spit up blood. And I think Chopin, the great piano player, died of it. This is why when people talk about, when they're anti-vaccine or they're antibiotics or Western medicine, just read. Forget the science. Don't worry about big pharma. Just pick up a history book or a piece of literature, anything that's written before 1950, which most people don't. 1960, any classic book, and one of the central themes is is the fact that people, especially children, died. Lincoln lost what? 3 of his children? Yeah. 3 to fever, quote unquote. Usually probably diphtheria or something that came rolling through. Smallpox was it was the biggest killer forever.
How about the Spanish flu of 1918?
People died. 20 million people?
Millions of people.
Yeah. So if you just forget, just pick up a history book or pick up a piece of literature. It was unavoidable.